All right, folks, we got us a 2015, I believe it is. Not a Subaru, it's a Honda. It's the CRV. 15, is it? 2015. It's got this engine here in it. The guy brought it here because evidently this car loses power, so I'm told, and acts like, you know, a plug converter. It just runs out of power and that's it. Let me grab the invoice out of the inside. It's been to another shop. I'll read this to you here. I'll cross off the personal information stuff. So this shop bagged her for $200, and apparently the one before that got her for $600. She's $800 deep into it, and the car still does what it does, I guess. Scanner diagnostics, PO301, cylinder 1 misfire, $50. 4 Denso Iridium TT spark plugs, $0. It must have been free. CRC, GDI, intake valve and turbo cleaning. Must be I can't see the turbo because it doesn't have one. $21 for that. And then they use some CRC I-tank or 1-tank power renew fuel system cleaner, $23. And then we get down to the labor charge. So they did some wallet flushes there, $45.32 worth of Mickey Mouse stuff. Labor, check for cause of intermittent misfire. Replace spark plugs, did not fix. Swap coils, did not fix. Remove upstream oxygen sensor to check for exhaust back pressure. Tested good. Suspect a valve problem or injector problem. Perform valve cleaning and intake cleaning, still misfiring. Advised to take to the dealer for further diagnosis and repair. $199.88 and your car is still broke. I don't know what they did to this air fuel ratio sensor, but this thing's all smashed up, bashed up. They busted it off where it hooks on up here. And now the vehicle's here at my shop with the engine light on, with a PO 135, I think, for O2 or Bank 1 Sensor 1 AFR heater circuit. So I checked it yesterday and the heater is open circuited. So I ordered us a new one from Honda. I don't know what the car's actually doing because it has 4 monitors that are not set. And it's running in a default strategy because the AFR sensor doesn't work. If the heater in these things doesn't work, these sensors quit working altogether. So we're gonna see if we can't get this out. Oh, mother lovers. They must have that sucker. I hope they don't have it cross-threaded in there. It's all just beat to hell. Let's just cut the connector off and see if we can get a socket on it. I mean, it's junk, so it doesn't matter. So we're just gonna cut that connector off and stick a 22 mil on there. It's probably not gonna fit. Get out of there. Let me grab a different sock here. Maybe a little bit different here. We'll grab a 7/8. That one fits. So grab that. Hopefully they didn't strip this thing out. Oh nope. I just couldn't get a good bite on it with that socket. But so what we have to do, I guess, long story short, even though I already gave you the long story. Oh, come on. Oh, that's all jammed up under there. Man. Yeah, they've got that really just freaking wedged right under there. Good job, fellas. Gotta see if we can't get that little piece of metal. Figure out from underneath that shield. Come on, baby. There we go. I guess what I was trying to say. Here's this guy. Unenhance. Back you back out a little bit. There's the new number from Honda. Made right here in America. What we need to do. Get out your words, you idiot. What we need to do, one more time, is we need to put this in so the car can go into fuel control. And now we have to run it through a drive cycle to see what the real problem is, if any problem still exists. I mean, how can they determine whether or not they've done anything after destroying this? I don't know. That's a good answer, Erico. Good question, I mean. I don't have the answer. We're going to snug that up without destroying it. We're going to plug this back in the plugger. Get everything straightened back out here. Get that hooked on where it belongs. So this is almost a $300 F-up. These AFR sensors are not cheap. And like I say, I don't know what in the heck. What did they do? I mean, if you're that pissed off, I don't know, go do something else. Oh man, this guy forgot his hat. Got done eating lunch, left my hat on the counter. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start it up, warm it up, run it through a drive cycle as much as we can. It may take 2 days, but we're gonna take it for a little rip and see if anything materializes, because he wants the car inspected too. A, we need a drive cycle done, and B, hopefully whatever problem he or she was having makes itself present. Contact. These things are pretty notorious for splitting the intake boots. They make them run like crap. But not knowing really what was going on, you know, what am I looking for? Just let me go through a little warm-up cycle here. Just kind of giving a visual inspection. Front end's all busted up. I don't know if it hit a deer or what. So kind of an interesting story. My guy Josh that works for me, he drives one of these. He hit a deer with his vehicle. Let me move you back here so you don't have to listen to this rattle trap. He smoked a deer with his, and his front end was busted up about like that. Knew he was driving it in the meantime, waiting to get it in the body shop. Well, just one day randomly, he's getting ready to leave, and this thing lost power. I mean, just barely move, barely go down the road. Act just like the converter is plugged tight. Checked it out. One thing I noticed is the engine would maintain a lot of vacuum, even during full throttle. It would stay very high vacuum. So that, you know, that tells me there's a restriction in the intake. We look at his intakes, you know, the air, the snorkel, everything's good, but down behind the bumper cover where it got in an accident, it broke something loose inside the snorkel down there, and every time you give it gas, a little piece of plastic would flap up and block the intake. So it's kind of neat. So it kind of made me think of that, seeing the front end of this one all busted up. But let's take it for a rip, see if we can get the drive cycle done. For a drive cycle, we're just going to pop into OBD2 generic. It's the easiest thing to do. That way we can monitor the drive cycle as we go, and we can look at generic items, fuel trim, stuff like that. So we have 5 monitors that are not complete. Get back here. So when it came in, there was 4, but I think it was a PO135. Should have a permanent code in here. Yeah, PO135. So that's what it was, and that's what we just fixed. So I'm gonna look at some live data, and we're going for a rep. So just glancing at data, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but it looks like, I mean, our fuel trims are almost perfect. Gosh, I mean, it's about as close to 0 as you can get. She's warming up about 145 right now. So anyhow, we'll see what becomes of it. Hopefully whatever it was doing, it does. The guy said when he drove it all the way here, it didn't act up one bit on the way here, so we could be just wasting our time, but we had to start somewhere. You know what I love about Hondas? I mean, I'm not even to my brother's shop. We're not even 3 miles from my shop. We're down to 2 monitors not being set. So we got 6 complete, 2 not complete. We should be able to get everything but the evap. I'm guessing that's typically how these go, but I don't suspect that they were having evap problems. But let's just keep going and see what happens. I'll probably bring it back, check it out for state inspection. If it's good, run it through, and then see if we can't duplicate customer concern. And if we can't, just flush it. You know, if you can't duplicate the concern, you can't fix the car, because anything you're going to do is just guessing. Alright, I just saw the last monitor. The oxygen sensor monitor was all we were waiting on. I just saw that one flip okay here, so off throttle. So about 6 miles it took to run the full drive cycle, minus the evap, which that's going to take some time. So we'll just go all the way around here in the roundabout. Whee! Whee! Not sure what you guys can see. I think there's probably quite a bit of glare there, but we can see, or I can see. Let me move the camera so I can see. 7 monitors complete, 1 incomplete, and no codes. So I guess now that that's done, we can try a couple things, because I was driving pretty much steady. These Hondas, you do a cold start, warm up, go out, steady cruise, 55, and 7 minutes, it's all over. Well, let's just try, we'll slow down, we'll do a little harder acceleration to see if there's anything noticeable there. So we'll just slow down, and we'll just tip in the throttle a little bit heavier. Side of the road here. So that was kind of a mid-throttle acceleration, I would say. So I'm going to get cruising here. We'll just cruise steady. This road's pretty flat. And now I'll just do some light throttle tip-ins, because usually if you have an ignition fire, that's oftentimes when it's going to happen. But it sounds like they've already played Swaptronics. They've already put plugs in it. Because like I say, usually ignition misfires are oftentimes, you know, RPMs are low, steady cruise, and you're just barely tipping into the throttle. That's usually when you have an ignition. Oh, look at that. The train tracks are shut down here. I can't say I've ever seen these closed. I've lived here for 43 years. This is the first time I've ever seen this blinking. Wonder if it's broke. There's a train sitting there, but maybe it's stalled. Who knows? Alright, we made it back to the shop. Now you guys can probably see. Vehicle status 1 monitor not complete. And then the only code we should have if we reread these is just the permanent code. Shouldn't be any pending codes, and there's not. I want to take... I'm just going to hop into OEM data. I'm just sitting here idling in gear to see if it does anything different. I mean, it feels like it might have a motor mount going bad. Like you can kind of feel a slight, you know, vibration, but these Hondas aren't the smoothest. Yeah, it's only in drive, it's not in reverse. Yeah, it's way better in reverse. Put it in drive. Yeah, and you feel more of the shimmy. So yeah, probably the passenger side motor mount is starting to go. I was just looking through OEM data here because I wanted to see if it cataloged any misfires on our drive, and it didn't. You can see our total misfires are at 0. So anyways, I'm gonna finish checking this thing out for inspection, and then I may go drive it around a little bit more in town and see, you know, if we can duplicate. I gave it multiple different scenarios here. We'll let it sit. Maybe it's a startup misfire. It's odd that when we read what the last shop said, you know, they were claiming that they didn't fix it, so apparently they could duplicate it. Let's see. Oh, maybe they fixed it, but they were still figuring out with that mass air, or the AFR sensor. I don't know, whatever. That's it for this one, folks. Needs tires for inspection. They're smooth on the back. Well, you guys could probably hear it when we were driving there. It's actually got mismatched tires on it, which will completely destroy these Honda dual pump fluid systems. They're the same size front to back, but they got a set of bald snows on the rear and then a set of all seasons on the front. So the way those dual pump fluid systems work is on pressure differential. So that thing will just sit back there, you know, going nuclear on itself as it's going down the road. So it's really imperative on these, particularly, to run 4 matching tires on it. So we're gonna get tires to get it to go through inspection. And then, you know, I talked to the owner, they're just gonna let it go. because the guy drove it all the way here, which was a few hours, and you know, he never had one time have a hit to this giddy up. So I'm not going to keep just driving it endlessly. We did fix this problem. Whatever happened here, I'm sure there's a story behind it. Perhaps the other shop, when they were, like I say, when they were shotgunning parts at it, you know, inadvertently fixed it, or the problem is so intermittent that it's going to take, you know, a while for it to creep up, which, you know, I can't just drive the car endlessly. And I'm not going to take it home and drive it around because I've got things to do when work's done. That's why I usually tell people when they want me to do that, well, you just take my car and drive it? Like, no, because when it happens on a Saturday, I'm home. But that might sound stupid to some of you, but that's how I do it. When I leave work, work is over, and that's that. And I want you to work your way down that comment section. Leave me your questions, comments. Let me know what you would do coming across a situation like this. Do you just ship it when you wholeheartedly give it a try, run a drive cycle? I don't know. Can't do any more in my opinion, but let me know down in the comment section what you do. Do you take the customer car home? Do you drive it for weeks on end to get that one intermittent glitch to try to help them through it? And if you do, what do you do from there? Do you see what it did and then, you know, hook up some test equipment and then drive it again for weeks on end? I don't know. Let me know. I'll be looking forward to seeing it. Insta, Facebook, you guys know. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. So thanks for watching.